Thanks for clicking on Wayne.com for this Week 2 edition of Inside the Zone. Justin Kinney from the News Sentinel, Glenn Marini here. And boy, we were wrong about a lot of things. We were right about a lot of things. I'll just throw it out there. You never know what you're going to get. Life's like a box of chocolates, the high school football season is. Week 1 in the books. What are your takeaways from Week 1? Because obviously we look at these teams throughout the offseason, talk about who's graduated, who's coming back. You just really never know, especially with 15 to 18-year-olds, what you're going to get on a Friday night. What are your takeaways now that you've seen everybody for the first time?
Well, I think what jumped out to me is Carroll. I think we looked at it and said, well, they're losing this, so how do they recover? And sometimes you recover well, and sometimes you have a significant step back. And I think Carroll, while maybe they take a slight step back, are not going to drop as much as maybe people thought. You know, lose Aiden Smith, but they have two guys, capable guys that can play that position. Nick Novotny is just a guy that just does not tire. They could just gave him the ball time after time after time, especially that key drive in the fourth quarter. And then that defense was pretty solid too. While they let Luers do a big play here or there, by and large, that was a pretty solid performance out of a defense with a lot of new faces.
Well, that was number 1 on my list. Carroll better than we thought they were going to be. And I think a lot of that has to also go to the Luers team we saw on Friday night will not be the Luers team we see in Week 9 and Week 10. They will improve. Arian Nieves will get on the same page with everyone offensively. I mean, maybe Deshaun Bustle was ready to go with that kick return.
Yeah.
I think we're going to have to institute the don't kick to Austin Mack kick return rule.
Don't
kick to Deshaun Bustle. But that is going to be a Luers team that's going to be, I think, a lot better in Week 9 than we saw in Week 1.
Yeah, for sure. And this is a team that, while we thought had a good shot at maybe an SAC championship, maybe that's not in the cards, but it is a definite team that can go deep in 3A and maybe get to Lucas Oil Stadium on Thanksgiving weekend. They got tons of talent. They need to find a way to get Bustle the ball more, or he needs to get the ball more himself. He needs to just push himself and make bigger plays. And then I think Arian Nieves, I just don't think he's a phenomenal player in that he can make his own plays. I think getting him out of the pocket a little bit more and allow him to create with his legs and his arm, I think that would be great for Bishop Luers too. But you know, they look pretty solid. It was just a couple big mistakes. You know, an interception, a fumble, that horrible punt. They hiked it over the punter's head. So some stuff they have to clean up. But it's still a very, very solid Luers program.
One of the other points I had in Week 1, Snyder is as good as advertised. Maybe even a little bit better than we thought at this point, because, you know, when you replace pieces, you just don't know how they're going to fare, especially on the defensive side when it's their first Friday night starting under the lights. They look pretty good. I know Northside has a ways to go.
Yeah.
But, boy, Snyder looked really good from the get-go. And specifically, Michael Halpert looked pretty poised in there at the quarterback position, which is a big deal because Isaac Stiebling was a Division I quarterback.
Yeah, for sure. That was one of the things that Kurt Tippmann said in the offseason or preseason leading up to the start of the season was Michael Halpert. He's just so comfortable. He doesn't get phased back there regardless of what happens. Now, we'll see him. Can he handle a fourth quarter situation where he needs to score, put some points on the board, or drive them down the field late? That's when he's going to get tested, not Week 1 against Northside when you're up, 35-0 in a blink of an eye. So Snyder is as good as they were last year in a lot of areas. I think that offense is not going to be as prolific as it was last year, but I think that defense may be better than last year, whereas they won't have to rely on that offense as much. But like you said, Week 1, it's so tough because, Northside's probably the 9th or 10th best team in that conference. So we'll need a couple more weeks to see just how good Snyder is.
And my last takeaway really from Week 1 was that, unfortunately, Drew Kazak gets injured. We're going to talk about that here when we preview the Homestead Concordia game. But they're going to be okay. I saw Jaya Wright in the second half, towards the end of the first half. He looked really good. We saw him in the scrimmage against Snyder. He came out and made a Drew Kazak-like touchdown run. In fact, I talked to Coach Chad Zolman afterwards. I was like, you didn't have numbers. Was that Kazak? He goes, no, that's Jaya Wright. I was like, he's going to be good. He goes, yeah, he's the quarterback. He would have been the starting quarterback next year. It's just going to get bumped up. They're going to be fine with Jaya Wright, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I saw them against the Snyder in the scrimmage, and it was good because you could watch the Homestead quarterbacks, and you did not know exactly which one Kazak was by looks because they didn't have numbers on. And so Jaya Wright is every bit the physical specimen that Kazak is. Obviously not as refined as a quarterback, maybe not as strong of an arm, but you're not going to see a huge drop-off of that position in terms of production. I think Jaya Wright maybe struggle the first couple weeks, but by the second half of the season, he should be fine.